In the dim light of his small apartment, Daniel Carter stared at the worn leather strap of his old watch. It had been with him through every job interview, every failed relationship, every lonely night in the city that never seemed to pause. Time, he realized, was more than a measurement. It was a companion, relentless yet intimate. And yet, in that moment, he couldn't help but feel that something was missing. Not in life, but in the very way he experienced it. Daniel had always been fascinated by watches, not the cheap ones you bought for function, but the ones with soul, history, and craft. He spent hours reading about timepieces in dimly lit bookstores, tracing the curves of Rolex models, marveling at the meticulous engineering, the heritage, the stories that each watch carried. There was one he had read about countless times, the Rolex Submariner 6538, nicknamed the James Bond model. But it wasn't just the model itself, it was the legend surrounding it. How certain watches seemed to possess the power to change destinies, to alter life trajectories in ways no one could explain. Life, however, had not been kind. Daniel was a mid-level corporate employee, doing work he didn't love, living in a city where everyone seemed to have found their rhythm, their fortune, their passion. He often wondered if success was simply a matter of timing, or if it required some invisible spark, some catalyst that could transform ordinary existence into something extraordinary. One rainy evening, as Daniel wandered through the labyrinthine streets of an old part of town, he stumbled upon a small, almost hidden shop. Its wooden sign creaked in the wind, "Timekeepers of the World." Something about it felt different, almost magnetic. Inside, the air smelled of aged leather and polished metal, and countless watches sparkled under soft golden light. The shopkeeper, a man in his late 70s with eyes that seemed to hold decades of secrets, greeted him with a subtle nod. "I'm looking for something unusual," Daniel said, unsure even what he meant. The old man's eyes twinkled. "Ah, then you've come to the right place. Some watches choose their owners, not the other way around." And there it was, nestled in a velvet box on the far side of the counter, a Rolex. Not flashy, not ostentatious, but elegant, dignified, almost alive. Its subtle shine caught Daniel's gaze, and in that instant he felt an inexplicable connection, as if the watch was whispering to him. "That one is special," the shopkeeper murmured. "It's not just a watch, it's a journey. Some say it changes the course of a man's life forever." Daniel laughed nervously. "That sounds like something out of a storybook." "Perhaps," the man said, "but some stories are real, others only waiting to be written." Unable to resist, Daniel purchased the Rolex, handing over the last of his savings. That night, he fastened it onto his wrist and felt a strange warmth, a rhythm syncing with his own heartbeat. It was more than a watch, it was a promise. Over the following weeks, subtle changes began to occur. Opportunities he had never imagined seemed to find him. A casual conversation with a stranger at a cafe led to a freelance project that reignited his passion for design. A chance encounter at a gallery introduced him to mentors who guided his career in directions he hadn't dared to dream. His confidence grew, not from the watch itself, but from the way it made him see possibilities he had never noticed. Yet, it wasn't just professional. The Rolex seemed to influence his personal life in profound ways. He noticed details in everyday moments, the beauty in fleeting seconds, the significance of small acts. He reconnected with old friends, repaired strained relationships, and discovered a patience and gratitude he had long forgotten. Every tick reminded him that life was moving, relentless yet full of promise, and that he had the power to shape it. Months later, Daniel's career had transformed. He was no longer confined to a cubicle, no longer living for weekends. He had started his own design firm, creating timepieces and consulting for luxury brands, his creativity now unbounded. Yet, despite his success, he remained humble, grounded by the lessons the Rolex had taught him. That value wasn't in wealth alone, but in perspective, in timing, in recognizing opportunities when they appeared. One evening, standing on a balcony overlooking the city that once felt indifferent to his presence, Daniel touched the Rolex on his wrist. It glimmered under the sunset, serene, eternal. he realized that the watch had not changed him through magic or luck. It had served as a mirror, reflecting the potential that had always existed within him. Years later, Daniel would tell the story countless times, often to young designers or dreamers struggling to find their path. The Rolex was a symbol, yes, but more importantly, it was a reminder that the right catalyst at the right moment could unlock a lifetime of possibility. The watch had indeed changed his life forever, not by granting instant fortune or fame, but by teaching him to recognize and seize the moments that truly mattered. And so the legend of the Rolex lived on, not merely as a luxury item, but as a testament to the profound, sometimes inexplicable ways that time, destiny, and a single choice could transform an ordinary life into something extraordinary. Daniel's journey proved that sometimes a simple object, handled with intention and awareness, could unlock not just doors but worlds. In the end, the Rolex was more than metal and mechanics. It was a companion, a teacher, and a reminder that every tick of the clock held the power to change a life forever. But the story didn't end there. One rainy afternoon, as Daniel was reviewing designs for a new collection, he received an unexpected letter. The envelope was heavy, cream-colored, with no return address. Inside was a single card. Some watches have stories yet untold. Yours is only beginning. Attached was a faded photograph of the very same Rolex he wore, its hands frozen at a time he didn't recognize. Curiosity ignited. Daniel began to research, tracing the watch's lineage, discovering it had belonged to an enigmatic figure from decades past, a collector who had vanished mysteriously, leaving only whispers of secret dealings and hidden fortunes. Each revelation deepened the sense that his watch was more than a mere artifact. It was a key to a hidden narrative, one that spanned continents and generations. Compelled, Daniel embarked on a journey across Europe, visiting auctions, private collections, and abandoned estates. Each location revealed fragments of the watch's past. Letters tucked behind loose floorboards, hidden compartments in desks, and cryptic inscriptions etched into its casing. Along the way, he encountered others who had been touched by watches with similar stories. People whose lives had shifted irrevocably the moment they connected with a timepiece that was more than it seemed. Through this odyssey, Daniel realized that the Rolex had not only reflected his potential, but had connected him to a lineage of seekers, dreamers, and risk-takers. The watch's legacy was alive, moving through history, reshaping lives quietly, invisibly, yet profoundly. By the time he returned home, Daniel understood something fundamental. Life's true value lay not in what one possessed, but in how one perceived, pursued, and cherished the fleeting moments that make existence extraordinary.